I'm Roland Leong, managing editor of Shotgun Report. I'm with John Del Gigante, a sporting clay shooter down in southwest Florida. John, you found a new importer for shotgun shells
Right,
from the country of Turkey.
right.
Can you tell us something about what you found?
Yeah, well, about literally a year ago, just March last year, I was on Facebook and I see this ad. We have ammo, and especially back then, ammo was very hard to come by. So I figured, let me give them a call. I call them up. I spoke to a very nice woman named Michelle.
Now, where was this?
They're actually in Savannah.
Savannah, Georgia.
It's a Turkish company. They're actually a huge company. They manufacture in Cyprus. The company is called AVCI or AVCI, AVCI. And as I found out later down the road, they're actually a supplier to NATO. So it's actually quite a big company. And just recently in January, they actually opened up a new factory.
Where?
Right in Cyprus.
Oh,
okay. And they also, believe it or not, they do some OEM stuff here in the United States in Savannah. So anyway, I called her up. I introduced myself. I said, I shoot a lot. They had at that time I was actually buying ammo for $132 a flat. When I came down here, I retired in September of 21. I came down with 16 flats of ammo. And at that time, every time I would shoot, I would replace a flat. So when I first started, it was like $79 a flat, and it was better, ammo, like shooting dynamics, not the Rhino stuff, but shooting dynamics. Then it was $99 a flat, and I could get BP Mach 2s, and then it was $109 a flat, and then it went up to like $130 a flat. And at that point in time, it was just anything that they had.
Right. There was literally a shortage.
Right. So I contacted her, and
Now, the company in Savannah, Georgia. What's the name of the company in Savannah, Georgia?
they go by it's called armoryfarm.com. Okay. Because they sell not only the shotgun shells, but they do hunting shells, 9mm and stuff like that. So that's armoryfarm.com. So I called her up. I said, look, I want to buy a pallet. She goes, well, we only have 150 flats left. I said, that's okay. I said, what's your price? On the website, they had like $100 a flat. So she says, I'm going to give you the phone number of the general manager, call him up, and see what he can do. So it took a couple of days playing phone tag. So just about, I think it was a Wednesday or Thursday, I call him up. He said, we'll do $93 a flat plus shipping. So at that time, I'm like, okay, this is $40 a flat difference, or $30 a flat difference, forgetting the tax part.
Now, you had not tried these shells yet.
I didn't care.
Right.
At that point in time, right. I was going, down in Florida, Walmarts are like, McDonald's, couldn't find anything. So I called him up. He said, this was like a Wednesday or Thursday afternoon. He gave me the price. I said, okay, I'll call you back tomorrow. But in the meantime, the place that I used to buy a lot of pallets from up north, I had spoken to them back in January. And I said, look, I called him up. I said, look, I know it's 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm probably the 10th person that calls you. I know you have no ammo, but can you, just give me some sort of idea? And he was extremely nice. We had a nice conversation. And he said, look, do you care what you get? I said, I don't. I said, just send me something. I don't care if it says Bob on it, He said, well, piece together an order for me, email it to me, and I'll piece something together for you. So after I spoke to the general manager in March, I said, I'll call you back tomorrow morning.
This is the Armory Farms.
Armory Farm, yeah. Right. So I called back the place that I bought 9 o'clock the next morning. I said, remember me? He goes, oh, no, I remember you. I said, are we close to filling the order? He goes, oh, I can't fill that for a year. So I said, okay. So I called back. I spoke to Michelle. She goes, it's all gone. She says, but we have stuff on the water. It should be arriving end of May, shipping out first week in June. So I said, please save me a pallet. She goes, not a problem. She goes, I have some other stuff saved for other people, but it's not that much. So every couple of weeks, every time I would spend $132 for a flat, I call her up. I said, remember? She goes, no, I haven't forgotten you, because, when you say something like that, nobody ever follows through.
Now, she knew exactly what you wanted?
Yeah, I already had the order in. But again, I would have I would have taken anything.
Right.
So I had just left Fishhawk, where where I shoot a lot, and as a matter of fact, that's where we filmed this. And I just paid $132 for a flat, which not only them, everybody. It wasn't just them. They weren't gouging me. Everybody was doing that.
Everyone was
So it
charging.
wasn't like, they're taking advantage of me. So I was driving home. I called her up. She goes, "Oh, good news. We just got the shipping information. It'll be in a couple weeks." So I said, "Great." I said, I have a lot of friends up north who are big time shooters. I mean, they shoot a lot. We used to order, pallets at a time. And she says, "Well, just, she goes, in that case, I can get you a better price." So anyway, I called my friends up. I said, "I'm getting the stuff in soon. I'm going to try it, and I'll let you know." Well, from that, it just took off like crazy.
So now we're into March of 2023,
Right,
which is
right.
so almost a year.
It's been a year, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I actually received my first shipment in literally the end of June, and
Of 2022.
of 2022, and
Yeah.
I was just heading back north to sell my house, and I took some stuff with me, and everybody that I gave it to, they just like loved it.
Right. Now you were being an advocate for this ammo, and there was no relationship with Armory Farms.
No. I mean, I have one now only because I've gotten so many people to try it.
Right.
But at that point in time, it was just like, "Hey, here's ammo.
Right.
Do you really care?"
Right.
But it turned out to be great stuff.
Right.
Because when I gave it to people, they were like, "Whoa, this stuff is really good." And actually, the first time I saw it, the first shell I saw was when I was at Fishhawk, and I was there one day, and I see this box. They called it Venom at the time. They've updated it now to Extreme. But it was 7/8 ounce, 7.5s, 1,300. So I bought a box and walk out to the stand. I think it was kind of a trap teal, maybe starting at 35 yards, maybe breaking 45 yards. Loaded in the gun, pull the trigger, thing just disappeared.
Now, did Fishhawk have the ammo before you did?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
So they
They had some of it. Again, probably just because they were trying to get it,
Right.
from wherever. And I have a DT11, and I was using the Muller chokes, the 2 and a 3. So I took that out. I had another, which I call Iconic brand,
name brand.
name brand. Anybody would recognize.
Name brand shot gel. Yeah.
Name brand shotgun that you would, if I mentioned the name of a shooter, you would know what the brand was. Put it in, same thing, exploded. Took another one, different brand, same thing, put it in, exploded. So now I'm saying, wow,
So you're basically the performance of the shell seemed to be equivalent.
Equivalent, yeah. And it was only 7/8 ounce. Although the other one was 1 ounce, 8, 1250. The other one was 1/8 ounce, 1,300 number 8s. So obviously I was very intrigued with that.
Now this was before your shipment
Yeah,
came in.
yeah, just before the shipment came in. So when the shipment came in, I was just very intrigued by it because, I came from an audio industry. Before I retired, I sold and installed audio video systems for 40 years. And in the audio industry, they always there's magazines dedicated to just, reviewing stuff. They might have 10 different receivers, 5 different receivers, and they'll review them. And believe it or not, the audio industry is not too much different than the shooting industry, because there's a lot of great guns, there's a lot of great ammo, and sometimes it's just a feel, okay? In the audio industry, sometimes components sound different than others, and you just might prefer one sound over the other, and it doesn't necessarily mean one is better than the other. So that's how the whole thing came to me as far as doing the video. So I always tell people, jokingly, my qualifications of doing the video is that I'm retired, I have time, I have ammo, and I had a shot cam.
Right. So this was a video that you had made that you've now posted where on
Right, on my Facebook.
on Facebook
Yeah.
page. And these videos show what?
So what they show is that I call them iconic brands. I have 3 iconic brands, and plus the extreme.
So this video is a comparison?
Right. So what I did is that I went to, I forgot, 7 or 8 different stations, and they range from 33 yards to 70 plus. And basically what I did is I shot them all. The first one is the extreme 1 ounce 1300 number 8s. Iconic brand number 1, I call it, is 1 ounce 1250 number 8s. Iconic brand number 2 is 1 ounce and 1/8 1300 number 8s. And iconic brand 3 is, again, 1 ounce 1250 number 8s. And basically, when you see the video, they're all the same. One is not different than the other. The 3 iconic brands, and the AVCI, they all break them the same, anywhere from 33 to 70 plus yards. The difference is that at the time, what I paid for the extremes was $30 to $40 less per flat.
Yep.
Okay. And since then, I've just gotten a lot of people involved. I have eye dominance issues, and a coach of mine from New York sent me to David Dobson, who is the coach of Jacksonville University. And when I was up there, I had the 7/8 ounce shells with me, and I'm shooting, and I'm just crushing the targets. So I turned to Dave and I said, "Is it my imagination, or am I crushing these targets?" So he says, "What do you have?" So I showed him. I gave him a box, and from that, AVCI is now one of the suppliers to Jacksonville University. Another university from South Florida, I think, is involved with it. So the shells are all 1300. The 1 ounces are all, the 1 ounce, the 7/8 are all 1300s, but they shoot very soft. Okay, and when people question me about that, I said, look, there's some young ladies who are 18, 19 years old that don't weigh a whole lot are shooting these shells. So they're soft shooting and they're very clean. I just shot 650 shells without cleaning my gun at Jack Link's, and the gun was still clean. So the stuff is just it's just really good product at a very reasonable price. To work with Armory Farm, Michelle there, extremely nice, extraordinarily honest. Some of my friends who are really into shooting, 2 of them have set up independently, one in Florida and one in New York, have set up crossing targets, one at 70 yards. And actually, I just spoke to somebody yesterday at Vero Beach. He told me he's doing it at 80 yards, and they break targets. So it's just great stuff. As a matter of fact, the guy yesterday told me he had an engineer break them apart, measure them and everything, and he says, it's just really high quality ammo. And I think probably because, again, I didn't know this in the beginning, they are a supplier to NATO in Europe, so they kind of have to know what they're doing.
Is there any reason why you didn't name identify the?
Yeah, well, the reason I didn't is because whenever you see these things on a website, what do you think about this gun? What do you think about that? Everybody's saying, oh, it's a piece of crap. You have to have a Perazzi, you have to have a Beretta, you have to have a Krieghoff. Everything else sucks. So I didn't want to get into that.
Right, sure.
And the thing is, I'm not saying these shells are better.
Right.
I'm just saying they're the same.
Right.
As I said, iconic brand 1 and 3 are Italian shells. Okay, iconic, and those are both the 1250 1 ounce number 8s. The iconic brand number 2 is the American shell, and that's 1 ounce and 1/8 1300 number 8s. And again, if I mention the shooters, especially for the American brand, you would know instantly. I mean, if somebody wants to DM me, I'll tell them. But I just don't want to,
Sure.
I don't want to create controversy of,
Right.
What's
It's not
going
necessary.
on. It's not necessary. It is what it is. If you believe it, you believe it. If you don't, but I can guarantee if you buy it, you'll like it. Because I said, I had another friend down here who tried some, and he said he loved them, but he had to have his wife try them, and she had the most expensive line of an Italian brand, and they were, I think, 1 ounce 1245s. So he wanted to make sure that these, she actually likes the 1300s. They said they're softer shooting than the 1245s that she's using. So I've just had, just very good response.
Terrific.
And it's a great company, and and that's how the whole video came, together. One note, I think on 2 of the stations, I think station number 2 on the video, I only do 2 iconic brands, because the break point was, I said 70 yards, but it was probably closer to 80. And honestly, I was running out of ammo for the third one, and the ammo that I had was just because that's what I had. I didn't go out and buy these specific ammo. These are just, stuff that I bought at Jack Link's or whatever it was at some of the better shoots. And that's really how the whole thing came about.
Okay.
It's been a great run. Stuff was super reliable. As I said, I've had a lot of people, people bought it multiple times, and that's pretty much about it.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
That's all that we have for these new shells from Armory Farm.
It's the extreme version. Okay.
Extreme version.
Yeah. And actually on the box it says AVCI, AVCI, or they say AVCI, but it's either AVCI or VCI. But
we'll have the contact information on the screen for you in case you're interested. Thank you.
okay, thank you.